Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in. Today, I'm out on the new R18, BMW's cruiser. This is a real experience, to be honest with you. I've not been on anything like this in a good few years. The very first bike I started out on, first big bike, was a Kawasaki Vulcan, a 650. And it had not really a similar feel, but it was a similar kind of seating position, shall I say, where you're sat back and your feet are in front of you, which is how this feels. And this is a bike that it's going to get everybody looking at you. There's no question about that. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. The chrome and the black, it looks lovely. That 1930s kind of feel. And the rumble from the engine when you start, this bike really kicks from side to side. It's lovely, really, really nice. And everywhere you look, it's, you know, chrome and black and quite old school kind of feel to the bike. The engine, as I look down, it's huge. It's absolutely massive. And this is the largest displacement boxer engine BMW have made. Now, you have got, obviously, some tech on the bike, but not too much. So you've got a few ride modes. You have rain, rock, and roll. They've renamed road and sport, I suppose, or dynamic, or whatever it is. I don't really know. But, yeah, so you have rain, rock, and roll. First gear is a little bit tricky to find. First off the bat for me, I had a bit of trouble finding that. I ended up pulling away in second gear, first of all. But, yeah, this this is a lovely bike to be on, actually. What fun. This particular model hasn't got heated grips, but you can get heated grips. There's no cruise control. As one of the reviews said, you know, it's strange to have a cruiser with no cruise control, especially at this price point. This bike starts at about 19 grand, so it's a really, really big investment if you're interested in one of these guys. The seating position is sat back. My feet are forward, nice and comfortable, no problems there. The seat's quite firm. The suspension feels quite firm, but I don't think I want it to be too spongy with this type of bike. I think it's a good idea for it to be firm, to be honest, because that will encourage the performance of the bike to be as engaging as possible. If it's a bit too plush and a bit too soft, then you know, it's not much fun, I don't think, really. Within the rev range, 2,000 to 4,000 is the maximum torque. 90 brake horsepower on this machine, and I'm not exactly sure on the Newton meters, but I will confirm that later on. But straight off the bat, guys, it's an easy bike to ride. It's 325 kilograms, this bike, which is huge. I mean, it's a really, really heavy bike. You have got a digital display on this tachograph in the front middle here. Anyway, we'll go through that later. There's miles per gallon and other bits and pieces on there, which is fine. I'm going to have to get used to the gearing on this, because first gear is quite long, actually. The gearing is quite long, I think, on this bike. But yeah, so far, guys, yeah, the mirrors are okay. The mirrors are fine. I can see out of them once I set them accordingly. Back brake feels okay. Round the roundabout, yeah, she's fine. Fine round the roundabout. Indicators are easy to find. It's all BMW switchgear, guys, so there's no problems there. The horn is exactly the same horn as you would find on any other BMW bike. Just ridden through Witham town centre, coming away from Cannon BMW Motorcycles, and now we're just merging onto the A12, and we'll see how she feels cruising along the main road of the A12, and yeah, it's a very, when you accelerate, you really feel the engine. The vibrations are quite, they're really there, you know, they're very, very intrusive, the vibrations. Fourth gear, 60 miles an hour, no problems. Let's get out here now, shall we? Come on guys, let's crack on. How many gears has this bike got? We're doing 70. It's got 6 gears, so that's fine. 75 along the motorway. Cruising along, no problems. I'd leave it in 5th actually, because I want to feel the engine braking when I roll off. But yeah, it's absolutely fine, guys. It's quite a relaxed riding position, as you'd expect of a cruiser. My arms are stretched out in front of me. Now, I am quite tall, and I would say the bars are quite far away. So, for a shorter rider, maybe they're going to struggle to actually reach the bars. The vibrations, they really are very noticeable. It's like holding onto your, you know, your razor in the morning, your beard trimmer. That's what it's like. I've got a beard trimmer switched on in each hand at the moment. It's really, the vibrations are very, very noticeable. But yeah, it's a very, very relaxed position, guys. It's very nice indeed, actually. I've really got no complaints about the positioning. Oof, my goodness! If when you change down, oh my god, it really rumbles. It really rumbles through that seat. If you change from I'm in 1st gear now. When you change down, it really, really rumbles. There's such a rumble to this bike, guys, really. It has got hill hold on the bike, actually, but it's a little bit rough around the edges, the hill hold on this bike, meaning that, you know, when you're holding, you have to really kind of push it to come off, to come away from it. But yeah, it's we're 10 minutes into the ride now, and I'm really quite enjoying this, actually. It's really, really nice. It's a huge bike, absolutely huge. What's this guy doing? What you doing, buddy? What you doing? Oh, he's going that way. He's going that way. I'm going this way. And we'll go this way. The back brake's fine. The front brake, I mean, it's a very heavy bike, so you do have to really get into that brake to make it do anything. But when you want to go quicker, it's fine. I mean, it's not sports bike quick, but it's, you know, there's enough grunt there to get you out of trouble and to pull you away from anything you don't want to be near. I'm really, really enjoying this now, guys, actually. It's lovely. I'm getting used to where the gear peg is. So I just have to hit it with my toe. You can't put your whole foot onto the gear peg. You have to put your toe on there, really. Just at the edge. And then it's okay. But otherwise you can miss it. The switch gear is all BMW switch gear, so it's as expected, it's all good. Your mode button's over here to the left. The menu button just goes up and down and changes the display on the LCD display inside the instrument cluster. Indicators are good. 1st gear round the roundabout. Yeah, she moves nicely. No problem at all. It's just a lovely, lovely bike. Obviously, with a big bike like this, you do have to think ahead with your manoeuvres. It's not going to turn on a sixpence like smaller bikes. And this bike has got a reverse gear, actually, which I'll try and demonstrate to you later also. Which on a big bike like this, it is handy to have a reverse gear, because when you park it, if somebody parks too close to you or stuff like that, you know, you can go backwards and forwards. And you don't want to be manually moving a bike like this backwards and forwards because it's heavy. Over the bumps, it's harsh. There's no two ways about it. It is harsh over the bumps. You've got all things up here like Berlin built. You know, the authenticity of this bike, the heritage. You know, BMW, they've been making boxer engines for a very long time now. Longer than they've been making cars, actually, I think, if I'm correct. But yeah, look, in 1st gear, I'll get up to 30 miles an hour, no problem at all, before the rumbling becomes uncomfortable. So that's really quite good. It is a big engine. It's a 1803cc, which is massive. But as is common with all of these sorts of bikes, you know, the brake horsepower, even though the engine's massive, the brake horsepower isn't that huge. But it does a very good job. You know, as I sit here at the traffic lights, there's no problems. I can flat foot easily, obviously. All sizes of people are welcome on this machine, I think, really. I mean, I'm 6'3", which is very tall for such a small bike. But yeah, even if you're much shorter than me, no problems at all on this sort of bike. I can't get over how big the engine is. It's absolutely huge. It's so wide. This bike is very customizable again, as you'd expect with this style of bikes. You can change different things. And BMW has a 719 billet range to allow you to change different bits and pieces. You can get different handlebars. You can get covers for the engine. Different seats, I think. And other things like that. This bike's got an exposed shaft drive, which is very unusual, but BMW assure us that even though it's exposed, it's absolutely fine. It's going to bear the elements, although anyone owning a bike like this, I very much doubt they're going to take it out when it's raining. This is definitely a fair weather, hot country kind of bike. So in town, slow speeds, moving around over bumps, it's a little bit of a... oh God, it's not a problem. Look at that. It's a little bit of a pain over bumps. It's not amazingly comfortable. But yeah, let me sweep it round. Sweeps round the corner. Mr. Justy, let me go. Oh, this is a big bump. This one, I don't like it. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can do anything about the suspension, but it really is very, very hard. The centre of gravity of the bike is good. As you'd expect, it's very low and it's got a huge engine in it. So that's lovely. But yeah, through town, guys, no problems at all. That was absolutely fine. Nice and easy to manoeuvre, really, even at slow speeds. It's just about figuring out where the weight's going to be when you stop, because when you lean it, you do feel it goes, you know, one way or the other fairly easily. It's almost like there's a brick wall in front of you. So you go to pull away on the hill hold, and it's like there's a brick wall in front of you. Cheers, buddy. Kind of holding the bike back until you hit the point where the bike will say, okay, we can go now, you know. And as you approach 30 miles an hour in first gear, the rumble becomes almost intolerable. So change up to second and then it smooths out nicely. That's much nicer. And literally that is just cruising along, purring along now. Okay guys, so that's about it for now. We've done the fast roads, we've been through town. I think it's time for the bike walk around, don't you think? I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, so here we are on another bike walk around, and today's guest is the BMW R18. Now this bike only arrived very recently and retails at about $18,995 for the basic model. It's an 1802cc boxer engine, 90 brake horsepower and 158 Newton meters of torque. Your best grunt on the bike is going to be between 2,000 and 4,000 revs. The speedometer has multifunction display. We've got LED headlights front and back, ASC, automatic stability control, 3 rider modes, and it's quite funny what they've done here. We've got rain, rock mode and roll mode instead of road and sport, I assume. It's keyless ride, although you do have to use a key to get into the fuel tank,
and to lock the steering lock. The boxer engine obviously, and this is the biggest boxer engine they've ever made. You've got an open shaft drive, a fishtail rear silencer. Seat height is 690mm, it's 345 kilograms, so it's a very heavy bike, guys, and it's got a real 1930s feel to the bike. So anyway, that's like the facts and figures really, and now we'll get along and walk you around the bike. Now obviously, as I said before just now, it's got a 1930s kind of feel, very, very old school, and it's a lovely feel to the bike when I'm riding. Very, very comfortable. The exhaust is absolutely huge. Look at that. I'd be polishing that, chrome polishing that for the rest of my life. And the engine itself, if I just come around to the front of the bike here, you can just get an idea of how big this engine is. It sticks out so far. It's absolutely huge. And you know, when you're sitting on the bike, you can't stop but look down and see the beautiful steel and black of the engine. The bike does come in different colours, but this for me is the nicest colour. I like this a lot. It's a really, really nice colour. Towards the front of the bike, the headlight is LED front light. Here in the centre front of the bike there, you've got the BMW logo. We've got twin brakes to the front. They are BMW brakes, and they're very good. They need to be for a bike so heavy. And the radiator, look, it's just down there, hidden away at the bottom of the bike. Like I say, the boxer engine is absolutely huge, 1803cc. This is the biggest boxer engine BMW have ever made. The shaft drive on this bike is actually exposed. That's a really, really interesting the way they've made that. And the bike feels absolute quality, guys. Every piece of the manufacturing, every part of the bike feels well made. Got these lovely spoked wheels, front and back. It's really, really nice. And yeah, overall, it's a beautiful, beautiful looking machine, I think personally. A real retro feel. The riding is very comfortable. The gearing is quite far apart on this bike, and you have no problems with the grunt, no problems whatsoever. You've got the twin exhaust obviously, so the exhaust either side, so much chrome, and you've got the 1800cc embossed on the side of the bike. R18 first edition. The bike has got a reverse gear, and this is where you'd do that. So basically you turn the bike off, push that down, that's now in reverse gear. So when I start the bike, it would reverse manually with the engine. Put it up, and there we go. What have I got here? There's a charge point there by the looks of it as well, which I was not aware of earlier. So there you go. Yeah, I've got a DIN point where you can charge things, that's good. The stand comes out very wide. The seat is very comfortable. It's, you know, there's give there, but it's very firm. Your pillion's going to sit fairly comfortable as well, and you have got pillion pegs. They come out quite wide. The pegs themselves, for me as a rider, they're comfortable, no problems at all. And the gear changing is quite easy once you get used to it. I did have trouble finding first gear initially, but after some practice and after a little bit of time with the bike, first gear is not too much of a problem at all. Coming round to the front of the bike, you've got these indicators underneath the bar there, which are really quite unique. Very, very nice. Obviously it's chrome everywhere. The mirrors are good on this bike, and yeah, overall it's a very, very retro feel to this machine. Now, pricing is heavy, as I said at the start of this bike walk around, 19 grand for this bike. And when you think of what else you could get for that money in terms of motorbikes, it is a lot of money, and potentially it's out of reach for a lot of people, I think. But you know, I can see what BMW are doing here. They're trying to break into the Harley market. You really do need to buy into the whole image of this thing to make yourself spend that kind of money. It's BMW brakes on this machine, and BMW are in general moving away from Brembo on their newer models and trying to make everything BMW branded now. But there's nothing wrong with the brakes, they work really well. On a few occasions on the ride already I've had to brake quite sharply, and they have been Very, very good, very responsive. So that's good. So now we're going to finish off with going through the switchgear and the screen on the bike, which there isn't too much to be honest with you, but we'll quickly run through that for you right now. Just before we get to the screen, this is the steering lock, situated just there. And also, to put petrol in, here's the cap. Off it comes. Like that. Proper old school, that is. Proper old school. Unscrew the filler cap. Okay, so here we are sitting on the bike. This is keyless ride and the key is now in my pocket. So I go over here, press the on button here. And as I do that, the dash comes to life. Okay. So back to the switchgear just quickly. This here is a button, I don't know what it's for. There's your hazard lights, off and on. Your menu button, which will just basically take you through the screen. So if we go down, it's taking me up and down through the different options on the screen. So we've got miles per hour, volts, the time, the miles per gallon, and all that sort of thing on there. There's not too much on there, to be honest with you guys, and like I say, the riding modes are only roll, rock and rain. Berlin built, it says it there right at the bottom of the screen, and it says it also here and also just here as well, and that's really nice. This silver and black, for me, it looks absolutely beautiful. Lovely, lovely looking bike. So then we've got the indicators, and we've got the horn, which is just about like every other horn really, guys. And over this side, all we've really got is the on button and the start button. This bike won't actually start unless I pull the clutch in. Okay, so clutch in, start button, here we go. As you can see from the movement, she does move quite a lot when you start her up. Now I'm currently in neutral, so I will disengage the clutch now and just set her to one side. Let's see what she sounds like, shall we? Here's a look at the exposed shaft. Absolutely lovely. Really, really nice. Let's push her off. So guys, really that concludes the bike walk around. Like I say, the actual screen itself is not much to it at all. It's very, very straightforward. This bike's much more about the feel of you riding it, the look of the bike, and the connection between the owner and the bike itself. You know, there's some emotion going on here. You know, it's taking you back to a time when motorbikes were just something different to what they are today. You know, so that's what this bike's all about for me. It's about a 1930s feel bike with an amazing look, beautiful chrome and black finish everywhere. Other colours are available. Just really, you know, it's a relaxed riding experience. My arms are fully stretched out in front of me. You're sitting down, your feet are in front of you instead of down below or behind you perhaps, as they are on a sports bike. And it's something that's giving you something completely different to a street bike or a sport bike or a touring bike. And whilst it is a very expensive machine, I do think that there is a place for this kind of machine out there, as Harley Davidson would no doubt tell you. And obviously BMW have been very clever here to try and produce a machine to take a piece of that market. But like I say, it's not a decision you're going to take lightly, because the machine is very, very expensive indeed.
That's the bike walk around done, guys. We're going to make our way back now to Cannon BMW in Witham. Just leaves me to say thank you very much indeed for allowing me to take this bike out today. And guys, don't forget please that if you do pop into Cannon BMW in Witham, you do get 10% off of their merchandise if you mention the channel. Look at the end of this video for details. Okay. So overall, what can I tell you about this bike? Well, this bike looks absolutely amazing. Okay, it's an absolute peach of a bike to look at. I've been riding the bike around today, and everybody has been stopping and asking me questions about the bike, looking at the bike. So, you know, if you like that kind of thing, that kind of attention, this bike is for you. Everybody wants to know about this bike, intrigued by its origins and all the rest of it. There is so much vibration in the bike. It's lovely though. You get used to it and you begin to enjoy it. In modern bikes, you know, people moan about rumble and the things that, you know, these sorts of things, but this is a characteristic of this bike. This is what people want when they ride this bike. They want to feel that rumble. They want to feel that connection with the motorbike, and you get that with this bike. But it functions beautifully, it rides easily, the gear changes are good, the gear range is long, so they're long gears. You don't need to worry about making changes all the time. The main thing that makes me change up is the fact that when I feel the rumble is a bit too much, then I change up. But other than that, guys, it's an absolutely lovely bike to ride. You know, the rumble is something that you get used to. Something I wouldn't want in my own bike all the time, but, you know, this is a step back in time. You know, this is taking you to a place where things were many, many years ago. Add to the fact that it is an old school bike, and you have got modern tech to keep you happy. You've got the menus here. You've got different riding modes. You've got obviously the LCD display and all that sort of thing as well. You've got a hill hold as well, so if you pull hard on this, it does hold for you. And then to release it, you really do need to be very positive with your acceleration, with your twisting of the accelerator, because it does hold it quite strongly. As I ride the bike more and more, it's just something that I want to amble around on. You know, this isn't something we're going to ride quick or spend long times on the motorways. This is going to be a Sunday cruiser. This is going to be long sweeping roads, you know, where you've got nowhere to be in any particular hurry and you just want to enjoy the ride. This is what this bike is about. It's a real beauty, an absolutely beautiful bike, you know. Yes, it's a lot of money, and I suppose you could say for that kind of money you would expect more in certain areas. The suspension isn't excellent, it is a hard ride, but then when you push the bike on, it responds beautifully. So, you know, I think if the suspension was too soft and spongy, then that wouldn't work very well with the dynamics of the bike and the setup. So, you know, it's a very good bike. Completely different to anything I've ever ridden before. I did have a kind of small cruiser many moons ago, and that was nothing like this at all, really. I mean, the seating position was similar, but other than that, it was completely different, and that was the Kawasaki Vulcan, as I mentioned earlier. I don't know what else to tell you, really, guys, other than that I've really enjoyed this today. It's been a really lovely ride out, and one which I'm very glad I took. This wouldn't have been a choice that I would normally step into, to be completely honest with you. But they've made a very nice bike here. So, thanks very much indeed for viewing today, guys. It's really appreciated. To those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Please do leave me a comment, and of course have a look around at the other videos that I've done on the channel so far. A big thanks to Cannon BMW in Witham for allowing me to take this machine out today. It's very much appreciated, guys, so thank you very much to the team over there. All that leaves me to say is, from me and the R18, it's goodbye for now. See you on the next one, guys. Make sure you ride safe when you're out there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
just going to take a slow walk around the bike again for you, so you can drink in the lovely workmanship of this bike.